What's up, people? Cypher here. Welcome back to another basic hero guide. This time we're on Erynica. Now, Erynica is very easy to obtain. She's within the hero rescue, not to mention your augur scan, which is just a tiny little scan that you basically do every day, and you'll probably do the best part of 3 of them, if not possibly more, but at least 3 of them a day. And within that, especially on the earlier side of the game, you were just fed, and you still are pretty much fed, Erynica fragments via that method. Because of that, most people have a maxed out Erynica. So that's brilliant. It's probably most people's only maxed out legend, because legends are very hard to max out in terms of their fragments. So it's really nice to have one that does max out and has the highest potentials for its gear attributes and such. Now, let's get on with this. She is a Seraphim Superior of the Order of the Martyred Lady. Yeah, I'm right. Order of the Martyred Lady. And as you can see right here, she's holding a power sword and a bolt pistol.
The absence of faith is the mark of the heretic.
Now, in terms of in-game, she works everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. She's made so uniquely brilliant that she can pretty much be used in any deployment and still be useful. Yeah, she has one skill that's not as tip-top as some other skills. However, 2 out of 3 skills being high tier is good enough for me. And what I mean by these skills is that, let's go for the green ones first. So we got Zealous Assault. Zealous Assault is outstanding. Okay, it's only 30% chance to land, but I'm pretty certain by putting several Zealous Assault heroes into a deployment, you're upping that chance. Then if you can land it, you're increasing the damage dealt by 78%. That's a hefty increase right there. So I'm definitely liking that, and I would like to see the effects of it stacking and how effective it does in terms of stacking. So maybe I'll do a few deployments in the near future to see. We have then her most known skill, because in this game right now, still, dodge is pretty much top tier meta. It is very effective. They've tried nerfing it, which in all fairness, they actually did nerf it. It was better than this before. Then they nerfed it. Then they decided to bring in a hero that would nerf it even further, but you need that hero, Seth, or Ulrich now, which have dodge dampen. And that's still, yeah, it's effective right now if you use it in terms of rallying and such like that, but it still isn't quite there, I think. It's nearly there, but it's not quite. Because of that, it's always best to have dodgers. If you stack dodging into your dodgers into a deployment, you're very likely to be jumping past a lot of their attacks. So it's worth having, and to be honest, it's even worth having even if you had just Erynica in your deployment as the dodger, and then you had 2 others that were focusing on other areas of the deployment, i.e. more fixed skills, or maybe another different type of trigger to complement this. And then my least favorite skill of hers, which is Grievous Wound. It ain't that bad. I mean, you've got a 10% chance, that is the issue, yeah? You've only got a 10% chance to land this thing. But when you do, you get a 10-second span of just dealing 62% damage rate on the target. So you can't really complain for extra damage. You can't really complain about extra damage. So that's all nice. But out of all of her skills, I'd say this is the lesser one. Because of that 10% chance to land, that is a really small chance going on there. I will say though as well, her red skill is outstanding in-game. Now, when it comes to deployments, only the green skills work when it comes to fighting a base, when you're trying to blow up a player or a member, okay? All those green skills will work. The red skill is made for expedition mode, breach assault. When you go inside a level and fight inside the game, that's when the red skills start to pop off. And the red skill for Erynica is one of the best, in my opinion. It deals an extra 163% damage on top of it, but at the same time as it dealing this extra damage to your enemies, you're sapping their energy and you're gaining life yourself. So you'll find that Erynica, her life is quite low at one point, and then bang, she's just got full health again. But at the same time, as well as having full health, she's now punching everybody to the floor full time. So that is one of my favorite skills in terms of the in-game expedition mode. She's not only effective in terms of attacking deployment in PvP, but she's also very effective when using in PvE. So you can't go wrong with that. Now, she has gear attributes that really do complement as well. Like, this character is a very good character all around the table. She specifically designates her attributes to the troops rather than anything else, which is really good. When you add her into a deployment, you'll increase all troop defense by 28%, all troop HP by 32%. That is quite something, especially if you've got other heroes doing a few other things. You could focus your other two heroes in the deployment on specific troops, whereas she can just sit there and do all the troops depending on what you've got in there. And 9 times out of 10, you want to put all troops in your deployment for the passive skills, because the troops themselves have these extra bonuses if you add the right troops into the deployment to back them up. So it's always nice to have attributes such as Erynica's to be added to the deployment. And also, she increases the march speed. So adding her into a deployment would get your deployment to the destination that little bit quicker as well. She also has hero combo, which, again, I'm still yet to really go into and see if it's as beneficial. Because all these different percentages and stuff, yeah, this looks like a small percentage buff, but once you've added armor to it and you've got Erynica in a deployment that's complemented with other buffs, this 15% here or this 8% here could actually make a difference. It's just whether you could make the deployment using these characters. That's just a simple assessment of the characters. See if their skills associate to each other, see if their gear attributes buff the same troops, or if they buff troops that are close to each other in terms of having passive skills or passive advantage, or whatever you want to call it, that little buff they have. Now, her first one, the plus 8% on both sides, she's got quite a choice there. You could add her with Tycho, Cordus, Alistor, or Cantor. So usually you only get like a combo of 3. Yeah, use these 3 and you get a combo. You get a bonus. This is pretty decent. You get more than 3. You get that big choice. Really get to shuffle up on that and still gain the all units attack, which is amazing thinking about it, because that's 8% plus on the attack of all units, all the while gaining defense and HP on the units. And then you're 8% buffing the attack on your heroes. Although it's very, very tempting to this whole Emperor's Wrath one. Now, Sicarius, Erynica both have Zealous Assault, and Seth has Iron Will. So that's interesting, because then Seth's got the dodge dampen, Erynica's got the dodge, and then Sicarius really just brings the power. So it would be nice to see that, but again, I don't have Sicarius big enough or strong enough to even test that. Now, what heroes would she specifically work with is the question. And again, I think, personally, she'll work with anyone. She can work with all of them. I'm just trying to think of one that she wouldn't work with, because it'll probably be easier to explain that one to you. Now, even with something like Cronus, you could add 10% to the grievous wound. So even with something as like Cronus, I definitely wouldn't add many times into a deployment. Only very specific deployments I would add Cronus to. Funnily enough, Erynica would be a part of that deployment, purely because of the fact that you're stacking the grievous wound, and I want to see if that affects it in terms of bringing up that percentage ratio to maybe 20%. So Erynica is definitely one to invest in and work on. She's one of the easiest legends out there, if not the easiest legend out there to obtain. It's worth getting her, and she's very powerful, and she can literally work in any deployment, in my opinion. I think that we should give her the chance to go BopaBot, and we'll see what sort of things are said in her report. So we nailed them. But this is a good example to show that the what I was saying before about hitting them with big deployments, hitting them with small deployments. Hitting them with a big deployment, you get this. So we still got our battle report and some information to it. But look how short this report is. And all this report really says to me is that I just mowed them over. However, you can see that things, even this short of a battle, we had things kick in. We had evasive maneuvers being kicked in on the level ones. Then straight off the bat, pretty much, we've got Zealous Assault kicking in. And then a Zealous Assault again. And because of the 78% increase, it is taking, just lumping them out. But those two right there together, the dodge hiding away from the attacks that are incoming and the Zealous Assault, to me, are really brilliant features. So that's a darn shame that I added a load of Predators to that. But I am not doing it again, because I just put on a shield, and that is wasting crystals. We don't do that. Thank you very much for watching the video. Please remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment if you'd like to. Much appreciated if you do. Bless up.